What's up, guys? It has been a while since I've made a video like this, so I figured that since there's this Godzilla Appreciation Week going on Facebook, I decided to do my own donation for it. In this video I'm gonna talk about my Godzilla and other kaiju movie collection and also my kaiju soundtrack collection as well. I'm not gonna go into all the toys and other kaiju stuff I have because I figured that it would take a bit too long. So let's begin. First I'm gonna show all the Godzilla and other kaiju VHS tapes I've got, and as you can see I've got a ton of stuff to talk about. So, well, the first Godzilla VHS tapes that I got were the ones that were released here in Finland around when the American movie came out here. Glad that's out of the way. Well, anyway, here are all the 5 finished Godzilla VHS tapes I've got. As you can see, they quite nicely make Godzilla here at the sides. Anyway, these 5 movies include the first movie from 1954, and for some reason Rodan from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1993 is on the cover. I don't know why that is. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Then there's Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, or as it's called here, Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Anyway, it's another quite peculiar cover because it's for some reason got Statue of Liberty there. Then, and actually this is the very first VHS I ever owned, and it's the 1974 version of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. At first it doesn't look like it because it has got pictures from the 1993 movie on the cover, but there are stills from the actual 1974 movie here on the back. And then there's the 1993 version. Here it's called Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, as it's known in the US as well. And finally there's Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And then the next VHS tapes I'm gonna show were released in the UK. Some of you are probably a bit familiar with these ones. These are all the tapes from this series. There are 2 that I'm missing, and those are Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, and Godzilla vs. Megalon. I'd still somehow like to get those as well. Anyway, the ones that I do own are Invasion of the Astro Monsters, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla vs. Gigan, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. I have also got other UK VHS releases, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and Godzilla vs. Mothra. These were released by Manga Entertainment. And also Godzilla vs. Hedorah and the Return of Godzilla. And this is the very rarely seen international version of the 1984 movie. And now I'm gonna move on to the US VHS tapes. I've got King Kong vs. Godzilla. This is the Good Times VHS. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. And Godzilla vs. Megalon. And then I've also got Godzilla's Revenge. This is the release from Scimitar. This is the only Scimitar release I have. And then I have Godzilla 1985. This is the US version with Raymond Burr. Godzilla vs. Biollante. Godzilla vs. Destroyer. And Godzilla 2000. And these next four, these are imports or bootlegs. Anyway, they are Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yes, this is the American version, as you can see from there, I hope. And Gigantis the Fire Monster, again the American version. This one has got the Gigantis title card, which wasn't on the recent DVD from Classic Media. And the Japanese version of King Kong vs. Godzilla, and the Japanese version of Godzilla vs. Mothra, and these both have English subtitles. I have also got a second VHS copy of Mothra vs. Godzilla, which I recorded off TV, and that one has Finnish subtitles, but that tape is God knows where, because I haven't labeled that, because as you can see, most of my VHS tapes don't have any labels on them, so I didn't bother to look for the VHS. Anyway, let's move on. I have only 2 Gamera movies on VHS, and they are Gamera Guardian of the Universe. This is the UK version, which has a different dubbing with, I assume, British voice actors, and it has also got a new kind of techno music all over it. And Gamera vs. Zigra. This is the English dubbed version. Next, I have the first 2 Rebirth of Mothra movies, and I have also got the same 2 movies also recorded off TV with Finnish subtitles. This one I actually did label. And the last VHS tapes I want to show, these were all recorded off TV by my uncle who lives in the States, and I of course appreciate him for that. These were all shown on the Sci-Fi Channel back in August 2003, and 2 of them were 2 Godzilla movies that had their TV premiere back then. Those were, of course, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, God, that's so hard to pronounce, and GMK. And he also recorded Rebirth of Mothra 3 and Reptilian, or the new Young Gary, and Reptilicus, the only Danish monster movie I ever made.